what does it mean to be in a tantric relationship? Because there are so many different ways out there that Tantra has been changed, adapted, appropriated, and really kind of pulled into this modern framework that has a lot to do with relationship, embodiment, how to claim sexuality, and all of these different kind of like interpersonal zones. And some of that has a historic precedence and some of it definitely does not. But for my purposes, for embodying the goddess, for taking on an aspect of the divine feminine, we have to talk about relationship and we have to understand what a tantric relationship is at that level of the radical non-dual divine feminine. For me, what a tantric relationship is when you come into an agreement with somebody, whether it's a sexual partner, a life partner, a friend, a family member, or yourself, a relationship, but this is a relationship agreement where I know that you want, for me, my very highest awakening, and that you are in devotional service to my highest awakening in my heart. That means that you are paying attention to where I am in integrity or where I am not in integrity as regards to my heart, and that you are willing to keep your ear on that pulse and remind me when I need to come back into alignment, maybe to notice a trauma pattern in me, maybe to notice something in me that needs an adjustment or a fine-tuning on that great instrument of the heart. And that I want for you your greatest awakening, and I have my ear to that exact same service. That this is now an act of divine recognition, that I am in deep devotion of you and your heart and your greatest awakening. And that I am listening to the instrument of your heart in order to be of service to that in you, which is your highest awakening. This type of a relationship where we are now in a partnership of service to each other's highest awakening, to the truth of each other's greatest heart, this is what I call a tantric relationship. Sometimes sex is involved in that if this is with a sexual partner. That just adds a layer of understanding or reflecting that heart mirror back and forth to each other. It's a very high level to include that in a sexual partnership. Sometimes this is not a sexual partnership. Sometimes this is somebody who we have a different kind of relationship with. Sometimes it's a spiritual relationship. Sometimes we're on a path of asceticism or celibacy, and that is the relationship, but it is a very high level tantric relationship, whether sex is involved or not involved, in that kind of devotional, how am I of service to you and your highest awakening? Because here's the thing, as we probably know, I am fallible. Like, I have ways, and I can tell you personally, there are blind spots in me. And there are ways that I need the feedback. There are ways that if I can have a trusted partner or friend or sacred ally in giving me that reflection when I come out of attunement or out of resonance with reality, who might catch me and say, hey, there's this thing I noticed in you. Are you aware of it? Do you want to continue doing that, right? Because like sometimes maybe it's in service of me to be out of alignment or out of tune. And I might say in response, oh, actually, this is a pattern I'm working on. Thank you so much for bringing it up to me. And like, let me continue to work on it. But it seems to me like it's being of service for X, Y, Z reason. But the point is that then you get to have a direct relationship with a core pattern or with an activation that is there at the heart. So to me, a tantric relationship is actually the highest relationship we can engage in as humans, because it goes into life, into embodiment, and now becoming each other's God mirrors, so that we can reflect and be God for each other, be the goddess for each other. And as the goddess, we are always waking up to our heart. This is her playground. This is her body. This is her form. And her greatest privilege is remembering herself. When she gets to remember herself as me in those moments where the resonance is hitting and there is a divine being made love to, a divine being irrigated, a divine being in integrity as the goddess, with the goddess, for the goddess, and to the goddess, that's the highest expression of devotion. Now, if I can pull that into a relationship with somebody else, we're now talking about an extremely high level agreement. That's what I call a tantric relationship. Now, where that is in the world of Neo-Tantra and these types of reclaiming of the body or reclaiming of sexuality workshops, that work is valid if it's moving in that direction. What does it mean to you to be in a tantric relationship? Does it have to do with what I'm talking about here? I'd love to know.